You flip the kitchen light on after midnight and something skitters behind the toaster before you even see it clearly. There's a line of ants marching along your baseboard like they've been paying rent there for years. And out on the porch, a web the size of a dinner plate showed up overnight, right over the door you walk through every morning. You could call the exterminator again. $300 for a visit, and he'll be back in 6 weeks because you're treating the symptom, not the problem. Or you could reach into your medicine cabinet, past the aspirin and the Band-Aids, and pick up a brown bottle that's been sitting there the whole time. 98 cents. Hydrogen peroxide. By the end of this video, you'll have 15 ways to use that one bottle against roaches, ants, and spiders in the house you already live in. No contractors, no new equipment, about an hour some Saturday afternoon. The pest control industry in this country brings in over $6 billion a year, and most of it is quarterly contracts that never actually solve anything. That's not an accident. It's a business model. The ants come back through the same crack every spring because nobody's ever taught you how to erase the trail they follow, only how to pay someone to spray it once and leave. My neighbor growing up, an older fella named Walt, never had an exterminator truck in his driveway in 40 years. Not because his house was sealed up tight. It wasn't. It was older than mine. He just knew what was in that brown bottle and how to use it properly. Let me show you. Hack 1 and 2, the roach line. If you're seeing roaches out in the open during the day, that's not the whole problem. That's the overflow. For every one you see, there are dozens more you don't, tucked behind the dishwasher and inside the wall voids. Mix 1 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 1 cup of water and 1 teaspoon of plain dish soap in a spray bottle. The soap matters more than people think. A roach's shell is waxy, and without soap, the peroxide just beads up and rolls off. With soap added, it spreads and sticks. Spray any roach you see directly. Then take that same bottle to the seams behind the refrigerator, the gap where the stove meets the counter, the hinge of the dishwasher door, and the weep holes in the back of your lower cabinets. Those are the highways they travel at night. Do this every 3 nights for 2 weeks, and you'll see a real difference in what's crossing your counter after dark. If you're still seeing heavy activity after that, that's a sign the infestation is bigger than a spray bottle can handle alone, and it's worth pairing this with bait stations or a professional visit for the nest itself. Hack 3 and 4, erasing the ant trail. Mix something that surprised me the first time I read about it. Ants don't find your kitchen by accident. They lay down an invisible scent trail, and every ant behind the scout just follows the trail, not the food. Equal parts 3% peroxide and water in a spray bottle. Find the line of ants, don't disturb it yet, just watch where it enters and where it's headed. Spray the entire length of that trail, let it sit 10 minutes, then wipe it down with a clean cloth. Spray it again. Do this once a day for about 4 days. You're not just killing the ants walking through it in that moment, you're wiping out the scent map. The rest of the colony relies on. The scouts that come out the next morning walk right past your kitchen because there's nothing telling them to turn in. For the entry point itself, usually a windowsill, a door threshold, or a crack in the foundation, spray it once a week, going forward as a standing barrier. That's the maintenance habit that actually keeps them from coming back next season. Hack 5, 6, and 7, spiders. Spiders are a different animal, and most videos skip them because peroxide doesn't kill a spider the way it does a soft-bodied insect. What it's genuinely good for is the webs and egg sacs, which is where the actual population problem lives. Spray full strength 3% peroxide directly onto any web you find in corners, porch ceilings, or window wells, then wipe it away with a cloth or brush. Peroxide breaks down the protein in the silk, so it comes off cleaner than water alone, and it doesn't leave a scent trail for the spider to rebuild on the same spot. Egg sacs are the one you really want. If you find a papery sack tucked in a corner or behind a shutter, saturate it directly with peroxide before you remove it. That keeps it from bursting and scattering spiderlings while you're knocking it down. For the spiders you do see out in the open, a mix of 1 part peroxide to 1 part water in a spray bottle will discourage them on contact. Though for a heavy population, your best long-term move is cutting down on what they're actually there for, the smaller insects they're feeding on. Clear those out with the roach and ant hacks above, and the spiders tend to move on because there's nothing left to eat. Hack 8 and 9, the entry points. The rubber sweep along the bottom warps with age, and by year 6 or 7, there's a gap you can see daylight through. Spray the full length of that gap and the concrete underneath it with peroxide solution once a week for a month. It won't seal the gap, but anything crossing it has to walk through a barrier it doesn't like. Next, the basement window wells. These fill up with leaves and dirt and turn into a little ecosystem of their own for spiders, sow-bugs, and centipedes. Empty the well out, then spray the inside of the well and the window frame with full-strength peroxide. It breaks down the decomposing plant matter that's actually feeding that population, not just the bugs sitting on top of it. Hack 10 and 11. Pipe penetrations and foundation cracks. Every pipe that enters your house, the water main, the gas line, the cable line, leaves a gap around it that's just wide enough for a determined insect. Mix a stronger solution. 2 parts peroxide to 1 part water with a tablespoon of dish soap per cup. Soak a bit of steel wool in it and press that into the gap around each penetration point in your basement or crawl space. Do the same along any visible foundation cracks near ground level. You're not permanently sealing these, that's a caulk gun's job for another weekend, but you're closing off the traffic while removing the scent cues that keep insects returning to the same spot. Hack 12, trash and recycling bins. Once a week, rinse the bin out, spray the inside with a strong peroxide solution, let it sit 10 minutes, then wipe it clean. It cuts the odor that's been advertising a free meal to every roach and ant in the area. Hack 13, the kitchen drain. Drain flies breed in the slime layer that builds up inside your pipes over the years. Pour 1 cup of 3% peroxide directly down the kitchen and bathroom drains at night and let it sit until morning. It breaks down that biofilm, which cuts off the food source the larvae depend on. Repeat this monthly. Hack 14, the monthly baseboard routine. This next one is the habit that turns a one-time cleanup into something that actually lasts. Once a month, walk the perimeter of every room with your peroxide and water mix and go along the baseboards, especially in the kitchen, bathroom, and basement. It's 10 minutes, and it's the difference between solving the problem once and solving it every single year. Hack 15, the storage corners. Attics, garages, and storage closets are where spiders set up shop because nobody bothers them there. Once a season, go through with a full-strength peroxide spray along the corners, the undersides of shelving, and any cardboard boxes sitting directly on the floor. Cardboard holds on to humidity and scent in a way plastic bins don't, which is exactly what draws spiders and the insects they hunt in the first place. One safety note, and it matters. Never combine hydrogen peroxide with bleach or with ammonia-based cleaners. The reaction between them produces fumes you do not want to breathe in a kitchen or anywhere else. Keep the brown bottle away from anything in your laundry room, and you'll be fine with everything in this video. And a word on expectations. Peroxide is a genuinely useful, cheap, low-risk tool for keeping roaches, ants, and spiders from taking over your house, especially as an ongoing habit. But if you're looking at a heavy, established infestation, especially anything involving a structure or a large nest, this is a strong first move, not necessarily the only move you'll need. Combine it with sealing up entry points, and for anything that doesn't budge after a few weeks, a proper inspection. Let me know in the comments if you tried any of these and what you think. And if this is the kind of thing you want more of, subscribe and stick around. There's a lot more sitting in that medicine cabinet than people give it credit for.